So games are a really important part of our lives, and as the years go on, that's only going to, heighten. Games are only going to become more important to us. And the biggest shift I think we're going to see is they're moving from being a discrete experience to an indiscrete experience.
You were the chosen one!
When we think about games today, already we've got more people playing more games on more platforms in more geographies around the world than ever before. It's not just a console business, it's not just a PC business, it's not even just a mobile business.
It was said that you would destroy this Sith, not join them! Bring balance to the Force, not leave it in darkness!
There have been so many Star Wars things released. From movies, TV, board games, toys, and so many more. And as much as we love Star Wars, they have not always been the thing to put a smile on our faces. Thanks, Jar Jar. Star Wars video games are no exception. So why can't we get a modern AAA title that does the IP justice? I finished the DLC in Battlefront 2 last night, and needless to say, I was totally disappointed. It was short, it felt out of place, and it just did nothing to excite me. Okay, I'm essentially just going to spoil the whole thing right now, so if you want to play it, mute me, skip ahead. I'm going to pretty much tell the entire story. So the story picks up a long time after the main campaign. Iden is waiting for her husband to return from Pilum, where Hask has just straight up murdered that bro. Iden then goes back to Pilum and falls into Hask's trap. But, this being a Star Wars game, she escapes with the skin of her teeth and her daughter, Zay. Yep, they called her Zay. It's like they were in a meeting and they were like, what are we going to call Iden's daughter? And they were like, something people will know and people will relate to. What about Rey? But obviously they couldn't use Rey because it's in the movies, so they were just like, fuck it. Take the R away, chuck a Z on there, she'll be right. Anyway, they eventually find Hask, kill him very easily. They take a First Order ship, take it out of hyperspace by destroying the hyperdrive engine. They don't die, and then Iden cops a blaster to the hip, dies in Zay's arms. Zay joins the Resistance. Essentially, it's insert Star Wars trope here. It's not very good. What I'm trying to get at here is that there seems to be such a wealth of fantastic stories to tell, or so much room for a great story to be written, but no one seems to take advantage of that. Yes, Battlefront 2 most certainly has a multiplayer game focus, but if they're going to put a campaign in, they need to do it properly, not just a glorified tutorial for the multiplayer. Battlefront from 2005 did a far better job of telling the whole story, but at the same time giving you the experience of being a clone trooper, just a standard unit in the Republic Army, all the way through to the Galactic Empire. Yes, still sort of a glorified tutorial, but the objectives were sound, fun, and with a lot of variety, vehicles and story missions and a variety of classes to play. These mechanics lent themselves to the replayability of the campaign, as well as keeping the campaign fresh throughout. We mustn't look through rose-tinted glasses, that game still had a lot of issues. But that game did have Galactic Conquest. Oh man, I want Galactic Conquest so bad. All I'm saying is that I would pay so much money to play a really good Star Wars single player game. Like, I'm talking like I'd drop like $150 if the game was Red Dead level good, or Uncharted. Even if they made like an Assassin's Creed Origins-esque game, but in the Star Wars universe. We don't need to go back far to see where it's been done right before, in games like Knights of the Old Republic and the Jedi Knight franchise. They tell great stories and are fun to play, they're long, interesting, but unfortunately some of them are no longer considered canon. I suppose we know why these games are heading to a multiplayer only stance. We're all sick of talking about loot boxes, so I won't. What I think is important is that not only do we need more single player games in general, but to get a great Star Wars game back to where it belongs in the single player space would be amazing. I was devastated when EA shut down Visceral Games. Star Wars 1313 was looking incredible, exactly what the Star Wars space needed. But its life was cut short. I'm surprised it got cut, to be honest. The crowd reactions were positive and it was almost done. I would have thought they would have just released it, but we'll never get to play it. Instead, we got one of the most anticipated, but at the same time, probably the worst a game has ever been received by the community. Even fanboys found it hard to buy this game. I know I did. What I suggest might be a good idea is that Disney sell the rights to another company that might be able to make a game that won't be as poorly received as Battlefront 2 was. Or perhaps even split it up into sections, where one company gets to handle the multiplayer experience and another company focuses purely on making a single player game. The Battlefront 2 DLC is free, so I can't complain about that, but it does not change the way that I feel. I was just playing for cutscenes, and I mean the voice acting and animations are incredible, and this is still the best looking Star Wars game out there. But what I don't understand is how something so beautiful could be so grotesque at the same time. Thanks for watching everyone, and if you agree or disagree with me, I'd love to have a chat in the comments below. And if you have not done so already, could you please drop a like and a subscribe? That would be fantastic. Anyway, see you on the next one, and may the Force be with you.